Hi, DataBen here. Today we're going to cover three types of loops in VBA. This is the for loop, the do while loop, and the do until loop. So if I run this macro here, which is based on a command button, it actually runs these three types of loops. But we get slightly different results for each one. Let's look at the VBA code itself. So we've begun here with a for loop. So we've declared x, y, and z as the iterating numbers, so the numbers that are going to count up, and we're starting with x for the for loop. So x counts from 1 to 10, and then we say in the range a plus x and x, so this would be range a1, but then we add 1 on, so we start actually in range a2. This is so we can keep the header, the actual header here in A1, otherwise the number 1 would start here. So we're actually starting on range A2. So we're saying, okay, range A2 equals X. And what happens is this actually steps up each time and increments by 1. So let's add a breakpoint to see this happen in real time. So you left click on the grey bar to add a breakpoint and press the play button. And we'll see here that we don't currently have any numbers added in the Excel sheet until we move to the next line. So F8 on PC and Command-Shift-I on Mac will move you to the next line. So we start here with range A2 equals X, which it's typed in, the number 1. And then you can press F8 a few times or Control-Shift-I a few times as it loops up to the 10th number. So we're still going here, we're on 7. So you can see we have X here is 7. You can actually see in the locals window the loop actually go up each time. So 8, 9 and 10, and then it completes, and once it's complete it moves on to the next line, which is a do while loop. So if we look at the spreadsheet now, we have the numbers 1 to 10 here. So we now move on to the next loop, which is a do while loop. So first we set y as 2. So we're using y as the next iterator, the next looping mechanism, the number that's going to increment. We're setting it to 2 because again we don't want to delete the header that's on the spreadsheet. And so if we continue line by line, we say here do while y is less than 10. So this is going to continue to loop up until it hits this condition, and then it will stop. So the first one, what we actually do here is we're now saying, okay, we're starting on range B2 because y is 2, but we actually want to start on the number 1. So we want the result to be y minus 1. Otherwise it would start 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but we want it to start 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this loops up by, we actually add the increment ourselves, unlike the for loop. So y equals y plus 1. And if you loop through here by pressing F8 or Command-Shift-I on Mac, it will loop up and you can see the numbers incrementing in the locals window there. And then you can go back to your VBA spreadsheet and compare it to the VBA. So we'll let this continue to loop up all the way, and eventually it will exit the loop, which it's just done there. And what we wanted to do was to get to the number 10, but you'll see here we've got our first bug, which is that it's ended on the number 8, which isn't quite what was expected. We'll come back to bugs at the end. Next we'll go on to the do until loop, which is similar. So this time we've used the z equals 2. So do until z is greater than 10. So this time we're doing the range c and z equals z minus 1. So again it's because we want to start at the number 1. And otherwise the loop is the same. And so when it gets to this condition that z is greater than 10, so you can see here the numbers incrementing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it will do it one more time, and then it will decide to exit because the number 11 is greater than 10, and there we go, it exits out the loop and ends the subroutine. So we end with these results. So the for loop looks fine and that's worked correctly, but we actually want to debug why we're getting the results for the do while loop next. So if you go back into the VBA, we'll see we've started on 2. and we do while y is less than 10. Now this will actually mean, if you think about it, it will continue until 9 because so it will continue until 9, because once it hits 10, that's going to be too much. So let's see what happens when we do less than or equal to 10 and press play on this. So you see here we get one more number, but we still haven't got to 10. The reason this is because we didn't start on the top cell here. It started on y equals 2. So we're actually only counting from 2 to 10 inclusive, which is 9 numbers. So what we actually want here is do while y is less than or equal to 11. So if we press play on this, and then we see we get the numbers 1 to 10. So let's fix the last loop as well. So we have do until z is greater than 10. Now when it hits 11, it will exit. So it's only actually doing the loop from the number 2, which we've set here, to 10 inclusive, which is 9 numbers. So to fix this, let's try z is greater than 11 instead. So we add one more on, and that's worked. So that's actually fixed the bugs in our loops and also demonstrated the different types of loops, basic loops that we can have. So these are basic loops in VBA and are extremely powerful, and you will use them consistently through VBA. So you can imagine that you can automate a lot of activities based on loops here, and you may have some ideas of what you can do with loops. So you can do some simple things, such as if I said the result for this first loop was x times 2, and press play on this, we should have the 2 times table here, which we do, and so on. So you can do a lot of different calculations and alterations to the loops, and you'll see they also run very quickly as well. So this is loops in Excel. You can loop to very large numbers as well, and it's the most common way to iterate through your data in Excel. So that's the for loop, the do while loop, and the do until loop. Next we'll cover some more advanced looping procedures, like looping through ranges.